Hi, welcome to Tuesdays with Terra. I'm Terra Bundance, and today I'm going to talk about pain and suffering and how we can shift that to find alignment within our bodies, minds, spirits, and emotions. So, I'm going to be reading a lot of notes about this particular subject because I did some research, I talked to several people, and as I broke it down, the more I broke it down, the more I was able to really discover within myself. As I broke it down, it simplified it for my own mind. And I just wanted to share that with you, my Tuesdays with Tara audience, because I mean, if nothing else, when we shift energy within ourselves, it creates a ripple effect out into the world and can help change and support the planet. And so from here is where I would like to share some of the things that I learned about pain and suffering and how we can move from pain and suffering to neutrality, and from neutrality build a whole new concept or idea around how we feel in our body, mind, spirit, and emotions. So let's see. The first thought that I wrote down was what causes pain and suffering. And so, with the research that I did and the numerous people that I talked to about this particular subject, I was able to just break it down to one simple idea about pain and suffering. What causes pain and suffering is an imbalance. So, the imbalance could be within your own body, mind, spirit, and emotions. It could be within your family, it could be within your community, and it could be within a societal greater whole, a planetary imbalance. So, with body, mind, spirit, emotional imbalance, the more we struggle with the imbalance, the more we suffer and the more pain we experience. So, from there, I wrote the next question: what causes imbalance? What causes an imbalance within individuals, the greater good, the planet, the universe? What causes imbalance? And again, with studies and research, I was able to break it down pretty simply. Any pattern within, I'm just going to use myself as an example. Any pattern within my thoughts and any actions I take to support or feed those thoughts uh, can create an imbalance. So if I have a belief about something and I focus on it, of course, I'm going to notice it everywhere. So it's just like whenever you think about wanting a certain type of car. As soon as you decide that this is the car you want, you start noticing that car everywhere. And the problem with that idea or that concept when it comes to imbalances within your thoughts or beliefs around big things like politics, religion, things like that, is that once you become tunnel focused on that particular idea, that particular belief, you lose sight of all the other possibilities. You forget that there's more than just this one car that exists in the world. Like some part of you might sort of cast aside any other ideas about any other particular cars that you might want, or any other particular uh, religious belief that you just don't want to hear about. You don't want to talk about it. So as we feed our thoughts, the energy behind the thought grows, and then it becomes all you can see. And that can cause an imbalance because all I think and all I see isn't all that exists, right? So if I have a pain, say in my back, and I wake up every morning and I think, oh, there's that pain again, then what I do is I work throughout my day trying to avoid feeling that pain. So I might not move a certain way. I might adjust the way I walk. I might adjust the way I stand or I sit, or whether or not I pick up heavy objects. And so, based on that idea, I'm going to keep feeding this pain. And then, if I don't do anything about the pain, whether it's, take care of the pain, go to the doctor, go to the chiropractor, take a bath, roll on a roller, do some yoga, do some exercise. If I don't do any of those things and I just focus on the pain will continue. The pain will even sometimes grow and become a worse pain. So as we notice that what we focus on grows, and what we shift energy around can shift the energy around that thing, whether it's a pain, suffer, in our own bodies or within the planetary mindset. So the next question I wrote down was, what are some of the patterns that we as a society might focus on in our daily lives that can cause an imbalance? Some of the patterns that I wrote down, these are just a few, but they're the big ones. I discovered that there were three main things that we can focus on. First one is personal imbalance. Second one is societal imbalance. And the third one is any personalized or individualized imbalance. So for the first one, personal imbalance, it could be physical, such as pains in the body. It could be mental, such as held thoughts and beliefs. It could be emotional, such as chemical imbalances or trauma-related issues, or it could be spiritual, held personal beliefs around spirituality or religion. So that's the personal imbalances. Societal imbalances could be medical, political, education, racial or social, spiritual or religious or environmental beliefs, right? So that's a breakdown of kind of the societal ways that we create imbalance within our societies, that we might disagree on how to do medical care. We might disagree on politics. We might disagree on education. We might disagree on racial or social issues, and so on. So then the third one is any personalized or individualized imbalance, which could look like discrimination, separation, othering, judgment on how someone else looks or acts or dresses or wears their hair or thinks or believes or lives or loves that's different from me. Okay, so that's an individualized, oh, that person's wearing this particular kind of outfit. I don't think they should wear this because of how they're built, or how, it could be anything. I don't think that woman should wear that hairdo because it makes her look blah, blah, blah. That's a judgment and it's a discrimination. So of course, then we go beyond that to racial discrimination and who people choose to love and how people show up in the world. Okay, so that's kind of the bigger picture. What can I do to shift patterns which cause imbalance? What can I do in my own life to shift a pattern that would cause an imbalance in my own experience? I have to break the pattern by creating a disruption or a distraction of the old patterns and the negative thoughts and beliefs to create some sort of neutrality. So for me to take responsibility for something that's not working in my experience or my reality, I have to decide to disrupt or distract myself from that idea. Okay. But there's a whole process that we have to get to that. So this is a lot of information. I highly recommend that you continue listening to this a few times, because this was something that was broken down over several conversations. And once I got it all written down, it just made perfect sense. And of course, written, it probably is easier to understand because you can read it over and over again. But I wanted to share this vocally and verbally just to create the energy of something possibly different for myself, if nothing else. And hopefully this also supports someone else in hearing this to do the same for their own lives. So if I'm working to create neutrality, I have to first understand what is neutrality, right? So neutrality is defined, the definition of neutrality is a state of not supporting or helping either side in a conflict or disagreement, and also impartiality. And another part of that definition is absence of decided views, expression, or strong feeling. So absence of any strong belief, absence of any conflict or disagreement, not choosing sides. Okay, that's neutrality. So basically, if I believe something strongly, the only way that I'm going to come to neutrality is to decide that my thought is not the only one that exists. My belief is not the only truth. that there are other truths that other people have and hold. And just because I may not agree with them doesn't mean that they aren't actual reality. So that brings me to a neutral place of going, okay, other ideas exist, right? So other words for neutrality: equanimity, equity, balance, impartiality, detachment, objectivity, presence. And presence is the ability to focus entirely on what's happening right now. That's another place for neutrality, is practicing the Zen idea, the Zen concept of be here now, right? Okay, so finding neutrality allows for trust. It allows for letting go of old pains and wounds. It allows for being a boss of my own life without having to defend or, fight for my beliefs. Stepping out of patterns that were created as children and letting go of our parents' wounding, and so on and so forth. So when I can find neutrality, I can trust myself and I can start moving forward from that place of neutrality by evolving, growing in my own body, mind, spirit, and emotions. So, how do we get to neutrality? First and foremost, we have to create a positive disruption or distraction of the old patterns and thoughts and make those the new pattern. Okay. Uh, First, I have to notice that I'm stuck. I have to notice that I'm in pain. I have to notice that there's some form of separation or judgment. I might be in lack. I might be in pain, or I'm struggling in some way. Notice it first. Oh, wow, I'm really in a lot of pain here. Or I'm really in a lot of judgment here. Or wow, I'm really othering this person. I'm separating myself from them as if we're not one and the same. We're just both human beings having a discussion about something we disagree with. So notice the pattern that I'm stuck in. Okay. And then the next thing I have to do is change the imbalance by creating the distraction or shifting the energy for myself, not for the other person, because I can only focus on me. So here are some ways that we can create a distraction and stop the old negative patterns and beliefs. All right. The core part of this whole conversation leads to this section right here. What are some of the things I can do to distract myself and create neutrality? I can be creative. Creativity can be a positive catalyst for everything to move forward in my life. So what are ways that I can be creative? I can draw, I can sew, I can make something, I can cook something. I just be creative, use my body, mind, energy to create something. Could be a song, could be just some movement of energy that allows me to focus in on something that I'm creating. So if I want to do a craft with my son, I can sit down and do a craft with my son, be creative. All other thoughts generally can disappear. Neutrality. Okay. Another one is be grateful. So see the good in this moment and practice daily gratitude. So if I'm practicing daily gratitude, I'm doing go-to gratitude every day, which is another video I did here on Tuesdays with Terra, one of my early videos. So check that out for sure if you want to learn the go-to gratitude tool. Otherwise, just start writing down things you're grateful for every day. At the end of the day, write 2 or 3 things that happened that day that you're grateful for. The more you practice gratitude, the more you notice it throughout the day. And that's going to cause a disruption, cause the distraction, create neutrality. So another thing I can do is meditate. There's different forms of meditation: mindfulness, yoga nidra, guided meditation, journeying, and so on. And if I'm practicing that on a regular basis, then I'm disrupting old thoughts and patterns that allow me to come to neutrality. So another thing I can do to change my patterns is practice some form of philosophy that I've never done before, like an Eastern philosophy, or practice like feng shui or Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine, practicing minimalism, practicing yoga, doing a Zen garden, things that are very balancing in nature, automatically balancing in nature, just practicing that every day. Let's see, dance, movement, exercise. So if I want to disrupt a thought, if I just turn on some music and start dancing, or if I go decide to take a walk or do, go for a jog or do some form of movement with my body, then I'm disrupting the energy that was just taking away my energy, or focusing all the energy on pain and suffering. Instead, I start moving, and now my energy and focus is on movement. So another one is do everything I can to step outside of my comfort zone. So if I'm practicing new ways to step outside of my comfort zone, I'm willing to try new things. So I might go take that swimming class that I've put off forever, or I might go do a zip line, or I might go, to a gathering that I would have never gone to prior to this moment. Things that are new, things that are forcing me to try new things, change it up. Just change it up a little bit. It helps break up the patterning of belief systems that have been formulating in my mind over and over and over again for years and years and years, creating discomfort, creating dis-ease. So then writing or journaling, if I'm going to sit down and write or journal, I may not like to journal. Of course I do. But if you don't like to journal, then just write about something that you love. Write about your dog, write about your best friend, write about things that help you get into a mindset that is fun, playful. And if you do decide to journal, like write in a diary kind of journaling that's just getting thoughts out on your mind, don't dwell on the negative stuff. Just get them out of your head, get them on paper, write them down, get past them so that now you can let that go, because now doesn't have to be held in your head anymore. It's on paper. You can go back and read it again if you want to, but it's not a pattern that has to perpetuate because you think you're going to forget it, or you think that for some reason you need to feed it energy. So writing and journaling, walking outside barefoot, just go outside, take off your shoes, take off your socks, stand on the ground barefooted. Doesn't mean you have to walk around. Some people really love to walk barefoot. I would be one of those people. It just means get outside, hug a tree, smell some flowers, make sure that tree doesn't have any poison ivy on it before you give it a hug, or any bugs that might freak you out. But hug a tree, get grounded, get in your body. By getting in your body, by putting your feet on the ground, it's actually called earthing. When you just stand on the ground barefoot with the sun coming down or the moon coming down on your body, it's called earthing. So you're literally connecting yourself with the earth and the patterns and the systems and the function of Mother Earth, which is to live and to thrive and to feed, and to shift and change. And so the nature of Mother Earth is constant change. So that helps me tap into allowing myself to shift my energy around a belief pattern, an idea, a pain, something that's causing struggle or suffering. Another one is to laugh for more than a few minutes. Laugh straight for 3 to 5 minutes. And if you're willing, laugh straight for as much as, an hour. Just do some kind of laughter yoga. I shared a laughter yoga video on here. I also shared a scream therapy video, which you don't want to do that for 5 minutes, but you may just want to do it once. Just do a good loud scream. Shift that energy, make a lot of noise within yourself. Laughter, screaming, drumming, something that causes a lot of energy shift because of all the noise changes that happen in your space. And then just sit in that energy change that just happened. So the main purpose of this particular talk is to break the pattern of pain and suffering and embrace neutrality. From that place of neutrality, once you learn how to break the pattern of suffering, you have to recognize it, change, do something to distract yourself from it, to create neutrality. And from that place of neutrality, create new thoughts and ideas. Decide to shift and change and transform. So this is a very long Tuesdays with Terra. I really wanted this talk to get out there. I really wanted this conversation to get started. So please share below any of your thoughts that come up while you're listening to this and watching this. Please forgive me for needing to read my notes, of course, because I usually try to just connect, like look at the screen a lot more. And so I couldn't do that. This is a very long conversation. And it's one that's fairly new in terms of getting all the information together in one place. And so I wanted to do it from a place that was very fresh and, give you the energy from that excitement that I'm feeling around it. Because for me, the new idea is neutrality creates change. And I didn't understand that until I started practicing a little more about change the pattern, distract the idea, create neutrality. From there is where change happens. So, best of luck to you this week. Many blessings as you practice the concept or the idea of disrupting your thoughts, catching the pain or catching the idea that's causing suffering or struggle between you and another person or you and a group of people. Catch it. Think to yourself, okay, what can I do in this moment? I can disrupt this thought. I can distract myself from this thought. So it may just mean in that moment, if you're in a group of people, taking a deep breath. But if you can walk to your car, walk away, go to your room, go to the bathroom, whatever, and do some kind of mental, physical, emotional, spiritual practice that helps to distract the thought and then allow yourself to kind of move into a neutral idea. Okay, my thought's not the only one. There's other thoughts out there. Now I'm neutral. I believe in the idea of all things existing at once. Now I can move into a new idea. And that doesn't mean that I change my mind necessarily. It just means that I change the pattern around the beliefs that I've held that's led to a certain belief system, idea, concept, that might be causing pain and suffering within my body or my experiences with others. So have a blessed week. Thank you for joining me on Tuesdays with Terra.